Joseph was the son of Jacob, born not in youth, but in the quiet twilight of his father's life. A child shaped by patience, by longing, by prayers whispered over many years. Where his brothers were hardened by labor and rivalry, Joseph was gentle. Where they spoke loudly, boasting of strength, he listened. And Jacob saw it, not weakness, but something rare. Jacob loved all his sons, but Joseph was different. Perhaps because he reminded Jacob of the years he himself had lost. Perhaps because he carried his mother Rachel's softness in his eyes. Or perhaps, though Jacob did not yet know it, because destiny rested quietly on the boy's shoulders. One evening, Jacob placed a robe in Joseph's hands. Not rough wool like the others wore, but woven carefully, thread by thread, colored with intention, a robe that marked him.
This is beautiful, Father.
Wear it well, my son.
Joseph felt their eyes on him. He felt the silence sharpen when he entered a room. But he did not yet understand it, because Joseph's heart was still innocent. It was not the robe that broke the peace. It was the dreams.
Look at him. Walking like a prince. Father loves him more. He doesn't even try to hide it.
I had a dream, Joseph said. His brothers paused, not out of curiosity, but dread. Go on, one said. We were in the field, binding sheaves of grain, and my sheaf stood upright, and yours gathered around it, and bowed. Brother 3, sharp, angry voice said, so now we bow to you. Is that what you think, dreamer? Joseph stepped back, startled by the sudden heat of their voices. He hadn't meant offense. He hadn't meant pride. He only spoke what he saw. But the dream did not end there. Another night passed, and heaven spoke again. Joseph, more cautious now, I dreamed again. This time even the air felt heavy. The sun, the moon, and 11 stars. They bowed down to me. The brothers erupted. This is madness! Brother 3, he thinks he's above us all. The noise reached Jacob. The father stepped forward, his face stern but his eyes uncertain. Jake firm, controlling the room. Enough! Turns to Joseph. Do you truly believe that your mother and I and your brothers will bow before you? Joseph searched his father's face. He had no answer. Only the echo of the dream still burning behind his eyes. Joseph did not understand his dreams. He did not yet know that dreams can be promises wrapped in mystery. That favor often comes before suffering. That calling can isolate before it elevates. But heaven understood, and heaven was already moving. The journey from home to Dothan was long. The sun rose higher with every step Joseph took. Dust clung to his sandals. Hope clung to his heart. Jacob had sent him with a simple task. Find your brothers. See if they are well. Bring word back home. Joseph went willingly. He always did. From the ridge above the fields, the brothers saw him first. A lone figure against the light, the colored robe unmistakable even from afar, catching the sun as if it dared to shine. Brother 1. Here comes the dreamer. The words hung in the air like a spark waiting for flame. Brother 2. Cold. Now's our chance. 3. No father. No witnesses. Joseph waved when he saw them. A smile tugged at his lips. He had no idea. 2. Let's kill him and see what becomes of his dreams. The suggestion was not shouted. It did not need to be. Jealousy had been fermenting too long. Joseph reached them, breathless from the walk. Joseph. My brothers, Father sent me to see if you are well. Hands grabbed him. Sudden. Rough. Woof. What are you doing? They tore the robe from his shoulders. The fabric ripped like innocence itself. Stop, please! The robe, the symbol of favor, the source of their hatred, was ripped away, and with it, Joseph's protection. They dragged him across the dirt. His feet scraped stone. His cries echoed across the open land. Joseph! Brothers, please! They came to a pit, deep, dry, abandoned, without ceremony. They threw him in. Thud. Desperate. Please, I won't tell anyone, I promise. But above him, silence. Joseph pressed himself against the stone wall, his fingers scraping for grip, his voice cracking as fear finally overtook hope. Reuben? Judah, please! No answer. Only the sound of brothers sitting down to eat. Reuben? Enough. Let's not shed blood. Reuben's voice shook, not with mercy alone, but fear of consequence. Leave him in the pit, he'll learn his lesson. Reuben turned away, hoping, planning, to return later and save the boy. But jealousy does not wait. Footsteps approached. Not family, strangers, brother one. Caravan, Ishmaelite traders, camels, spices, chains hanging openly at their sides. What profit is it if we kill him? He's our brother, our own flesh. The words sounded merciful, they were not. Let's sell him. They pulled Joseph from the pit. For one brief moment, hope flickered. You're letting me go? You're letting me go? Ropes replaced hands. No, please. Silver clinked, coins exchanged hands. 20 pieces of silver, the price of a human life, the cost of a dream. Shouting as he's pulled away, "Brothers, please!" No one answered. The caravan moved on. Dust swallowed his cries. Joseph did not look back. He could not bear to. Joseph was 17, and the road ahead was darker than anything he had ever dreamed. The road to Egypt was long. Joseph traveled bound, not just by rope, but by loss. Each step carried him farther from the only world he had ever known. From his father's voice, from familiar hills, from the language of home. Egypt rose before him like another universe. Towering temples etched with images of gods he did not know. Stone statues staring without mercy. Palaces gleaming in the sun, untouched by suffering. This was a land of power, and Joseph entered it as property. At the market, Joseph was displayed like merchandise. Hands inspected him, eyes measured strength, youth, usefulness. No one asked his name. He was sold again, this time to Potiphar, captain of Pharaoh's guard, a man of rank and authority. Joseph was led through towering gates into a household ruled by discipline and order. Chains were removed, servitude remained. The days were heavy at first. Joseph rose before dawn, carried water, cleaned floors, learned commands spoken in a foreign tongue. Each night, exhaustion claimed him, and still he chose faith. Even as a slave, God was with him, not in loud miracles, not in sudden rescue, but in quiet favor. Joseph worked with care, not because eyes watched, but because his heart did. He treated each task as if it mattered, as if purpose still existed. Potiphar noticed, thoughtful, observing from a distance. This Hebrew. Everything you touch prospers. Fields flourished, accounts balanced. The household ran smoother under Joseph's hands. What began as menial labor became responsibility. What began as silence became trust. Potiphar placed Joseph over the other servants, then over the storehouses, then over everything. Joseph walked the halls now, not as a guest, but no longer as a forgotten slave. He carried himself with humility, yet quiet confidence. He had no robe of color, but he wore something greater. Integrity clothed him better than any robe. Joseph did not know how long this peace would last. He did not yet see the storm forming behind palace walls. But for the first time since Dothan, he allowed himself to breathe. Because even in chains, God was still writing. With responsibility came visibility. Joseph moved freely through Potiphar's house now, trusted, respected, relied upon. And that is when her eyes found him. Potiphar's wife watched Joseph closely, not as a servant, not as a steward, but as a man. Joseph noticed the looks, the lingering glances, the pauses that lasted too long. He said nothing. He kept his distance, but desire ignored restraint. Potiphar's wife, deliberate, alone with him. "Joseph, lie with me." The words fell quietly, but their weight was heavy. This was not affection. This was power demanding surrender. My master trusts me with everything he owns. He has withheld nothing from me except you. Joseph's voice did not rise. It did not shake. How could I do such a wicked thing, beat and sin against God? She stared at him, not rejected, but offended. Day after day she pressed him, whispers in passing, hands reaching too close, commands masked as invitations. Joseph fled whenever he could, not because he was weak, but because he was wise. Then one day, no one else was home. Potiphar's wife, "Come." She seized his garment. Joseph shocked, "No." Joseph ran. He did not look back. He did not argue. He left the garment in her hand and escaped the room. But virtue does not always escape consequence. Spurned and humiliated, she screamed. Servants rushed in. "He tried to force himself on me." The lie spread quickly, fueled by status, protected by position. When Potiphar returned, she showed him the garment. "This Hebrew you brought into our house, look what he tried to do." Potiphar's face hardened. Anger burned where trust once stood. Joseph was not asked to speak. He was seized, bound, dragged away. Joseph was chained again. The same hands that once managed the household were now locked in iron. The same feet that walked halls of favor were led into darkness, this time to prison. Joseph had done nothing wrong, and yet he paid the price of truth in a world that preferred lies. The doors closed behind him. Stone swallowed sound. Hope felt distant. But even here, God had not left him. Stone walls replaced open skies. Iron doors shut behind Joseph, and with them the last illusion of fairness. The air was damp. The light was scarce. Time moved slowly, painfully. Joseph had done everything right. He had resisted temptation. He had honored his master. He had trusted God. And still he was here. But God did not leave him. Days passed, then weeks, then months. Joseph learned the rhythm of the prison. The clank of chains, the groans of forgotten men, the silence that fell each night like a weight. And yet, even here, favor followed him. Joseph listened when others raged. He helped when others withdrew. He worked when others gave up. Soon, the warden noticed. Warden, observing, surprise, you, Hebrew. Oversee the others. Responsibility found him again, not because he sought power, but because faith shaped his character. Then one morning, Joseph noticed something different. 2 men sat apart from the others, royal garments now faded, postures still trained for court. They were not common prisoners. They were Pharaoh's servants, the cupbearer, guardian of the king's wine, and the baker, keeper of Pharaoh's bread. Both imprisoned, both troubled. Cupbearer, uneasy, I had a dream last night. So did I. Their voices carried fear, not of punishment, but of meaning. Why are your faces so downcast today? We dreamed, but there is no one to interpret. Joseph did not rush. He did not boast. He lifted his eyes, not to himself, but upward. Interpretations belong to God. Tell me your dreams. The cupbearer spoke first. I saw a vine, 3 branches. It budded, blossomed, and produced grapes. I pressed them into Pharaoh's cup and placed it back in his hand. Joseph listened carefully. Then he spoke. The 3 branches are 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will restore you. You will return to your place. Hope flickered. The baker leaned forward. I also dreamed. I carried 3 baskets of bread on my head. Birds ate from them, from the top basket. Joseph's expression changed. The truth was heavier this time. The 3 baskets are 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will lift your head, beat, and take your life. The words landed hard. Silence followed. 3 days later, it happened exactly as spoken. The cupbearer was restored. The baker was executed. And Joseph watched, hope stirring in his chest for the first time in years. As the cupbearer prepared, Joseph took a breath. This was his chance. Please, when it goes well with you, remember me. I was stolen from my land. I have done nothing to deserve this place. The cupbearer nodded. He promised nothing, but Joseph hoped anyway. Then the door closed. Footsteps faded. Silence returned. Days passed. Nothing. Weeks passed. Nothing. Months passed. Nothing. Joseph was forgotten. 1 year passed. Then another. 2 years passed. Joseph waited, not knowing that heaven was not delaying him, it was positioning him. Because when God moves next, chains will fall fast. Then Pharaoh dreamed. Night settled over Egypt's palace, but sleep brought no rest. In the stillness of his chamber, the most powerful man in the land was shaken awake by visions he could not escape. Pharaoh stood beside the Nile. From the water rose 7 cows, fat, healthy, gleaming in the morning light. They grazed peacefully among the reeds. Then from the same river came 7 more. Thin, gaunt, hollow-eyed. They devoured the healthy cows, and yet they remained starving. Pharaoh woke in terror. Sweat clung to his skin. His heart raced. Sleep claimed him again. And again, the dream returned. 7 ears of grain, full and abundant, grew from one stalk. Then 7 scorched by the east wind sprang up beside them and swallowed the good. Pharaoh awoke at dawn. The dream would not leave him. Summon them. Magicians came. Wise men followed. They spoke of gods and omens. They argued. They guessed. but no one could explain it. Pharaoh's anger rose. Fear crept beneath it, because kings do not fear dreams unless they know they matter. Then a memory stirred. Cupbearer, my lord, I remember my faults today. The court fell silent. When I was imprisoned, there was a Hebrew. He interpreted dreams, and what he spoke came to pass. Pharaoh did not hesitate. Bring him. Chains were unlocked. Joseph was pulled from the prison, washed, shaved, clothed. Years of waiting collapsed into moments. In one day, Joseph went from chains to court. He stood before Pharaoh, no longer a forgotten prisoner, but a man steady with purpose. I hear you can interpret dreams. Joseph did not lift his chin. He did not claim power. Joseph, humble, unwavering, but God can. Pharaoh recounted the dreams, every detail, every fear. Joseph listened, not with ambition, but with clarity. Then he spoke. The dreams are one. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. There will be 7 years of great abundance throughout the land. After them, 7 years of famine. The room held its breath. The famine will be so severe, the years of abundance will be forgotten. Joseph did not stop there. Let Pharaoh appoint a wise man. Store grain during the years of plenty, so the land may live. Silence. Then, recognition. Can we find anyone like this? One in whom is the Spirit of God? Pharaoh rose. He removed his signet ring. You shall be over my house. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you. Fine linen replaced prison rags. A chain of gold rested on Joseph's neck. His name was proclaimed through the streets. Joseph was elevated, second only to the throne. The boy once sold for silver now held authority over nations. Because when God's timing arrives, it does not creep. It arrives suddenly. Joseph did not rule from a throne. He ruled from the roads. He traveled the length of Egypt, from fertile valleys to bustling cities, from quiet farms to crowded storehouses. Everywhere the harvest was gathered, Joseph stored grain, not carelessly, not greedily, but with wisdom born of suffering. During the 7 years of abundance, the land overflowed. Fields bowed beneath the weight of grain. Barns could not contain it. Joseph built storehouses in every city. He recorded, planned, not for power, but for survival. Nations did not yet know his name, but they would. When the famine came, Egypt did not panic, because Joseph had prepared. Soft, the hungry were fed, the desperate were sustained. Lives were saved, not by miracle alone, but by obedience. Pharaoh watched Joseph closely. This was not a man corrupted by authority. This was a man shaped by it. In time, Joseph was given a wife, Asenath, daughter of an Egyptian priest. A union bridging worlds once divided. Joseph built a home in a land that had once been a prison. And in that home, life returned to him. Sons were born. Joseph held his first child carefully, as if afraid joy might disappear if he breathed too hard. Manasseh, for God has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. Forget, not in erasure, but in healing. When the second son was born, Joseph's eyes lifted higher. Ephraim, for God has made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. Fruitful, not despite suffering, but through it. Joseph did not become bitter. He became better. The boy who once wore a robe of many colors now wore responsibility heavier than gold. And he carried it well, because Joseph had learned the truth. Power without purpose destroys, but power surrendered to God saves. The famine spread beyond Egypt. Fields dried, wells failed, hope thinned, and hunger drove men to do what pride never would. From the land of Canaan came 10 men, bent beneath more than empty stomachs. They carried sacks on weary shoulders and guilt buried deep in their chests. They stood before Egypt's governor, heads lowered, voices careful. They did not know that the man before them had once stood begging before them. Joseph recognized them instantly. Every face, every voice. Years had passed, but memory had not faded. They did not recognize him, not in linen robes, not with authority in his voice, not seated where power lived. Joseph's heart surged, not with vengeance, but with restraint, controlled. He hardened his expression. He masked the brother beneath the ruler. You are spies. The words struck like a blow. No, my lord. Brother 2, we are honest men, sons of one father. Joseph's eyes flickered. You have come to see the weakness of the land. Fear filled their eyes. Their knees bent instinctively, just as Joseph once dreamed. Brother 3, desperate. We are 12 brothers. The youngest is at home and was no more. Joseph looked away. For a moment, his breath caught. But the test had to continue. By this you will be tested. Bring your youngest brother to me. The brothers stiffened, whispering among themselves, This is because of Joseph. The name spoken softly, as if it might still hear. We saw his distress, and did nothing. Joseph understood every word. He turned away quickly. For the first time since the pit, their hearts cracked open. Joseph ordered one of them bound and the others sent home with grain. But he returned their silver secretly, placing it back in their sacks. The journey home was silent. Fear followed them. Later, they returned, this time with the youngest, and with fear wrapped tightly around their resolve. Joseph watched carefully, not to punish, but to see. He tested their loyalty, their honesty, their willingness to sacrifice, and what he found surprised him. They were no longer the men who sold their brother. The test revealed their hearts. They had changed, and Joseph stood on the edge of the moment that would decide everything. Joseph could no longer contain himself. The weight of years, of silence, of restraint, of memory, pressed against his chest until it became unbearable. He turned away from them. His shoulders shook. The ruler of Egypt, the man second only to Pharaoh, wept openly. Joseph, leave us. Servants hurried out. The doors closed. Only brothers remained. Then Joseph turned back to them. Tears streaked his face. His voice no longer cold. I am Joseph, your brother. The words struck like thunder. Silence, shock, fear. They stepped back, faces drained of color. Joseph? Guilt rose like a tide. Memories rushed back. The pit, the cries, the silver. They expected judgment, chains, retribution. Do not be afraid. The words stunned them. Please, come closer. They hesitated, then stepped forward. Voice thick with emotion. I am your brother, the one you sold into Egypt. And now, do not be distressed. They stared at him, unable to understand mercy where justice was deserved. Then Joseph spoke words that would echo through generations. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. To bring about this moment, to save many lives. The truth settled gently, like healing after pain. Joseph stepped forward and embraced them. Tears replaced chains. Guilt gave way to grace. Family replaced famine. I will provide for you, for your children, for our father. And in that room, what had been broken was restored. The brothers returned to Canaan carrying grain, but they carried something else too, a truth so heavy they barely dared to speak it. Jacob sat where he always sat now, older, slower, wrapped in grief that never fully healed. When he saw his sons return, he searched their faces instinctively, still counting, still missing one. Father, we have something to tell you. Jacob listened in silence. Joseph is alive. The words struck him, but did not enter. Jacob, no, do not do this to me. They spoke faster now, of Egypt, of famine, of a ruler with power and mercy, of a brother they did not recognize until mercy broke him open. He is governor over all Egypt. Jacob's body stiffened. His heart faltered. Not from joy, but from fear. For years, grief had become his shelter. Hope felt dangerous. My son is dead. But they kept speaking. They told him everything, every word Joseph said, every sign he sent, every mercy he showed. They showed Jacob the wagons, royal wagons sent from Egypt, food enough for survival, provision enough for belief. And slowly, Jacob's spirit revived. It is enough. Joseph, my son, is alive. Tears returned to eyes long dry. I will go and see him before I die. The journey to Egypt. And so the family moved. Children, livestock, memories. They left the land of sorrow for the land of promise. Along the way, Jacob paused. and God spoke to him in the night, not with fear, but reassurance. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for there I will make you a great nation. Strengthened by the promise, Jacob continued. The reunion. Joseph was told, your father is coming. He did not wait. He rode out to meet him. When Joseph saw the old man approaching, frail, leaning, familiar, years collapsed into moments. Joseph ran. He fell into his father's arms, and for a long time, neither spoke. They wept, not loud, not controlled, but deeply. Now I can die in peace, smiles through tears, since I have seen your face and know that you are alive. What had been torn apart was restored. A family once broken by betrayal was preserved by forgiveness, and Israel settled in Egypt, not as slaves, but as a people protected, because God had not only saved Joseph, he had saved them all. Joseph's story is not about power. Power rises and falls with time. Power fades when strength fails. Joseph's story is about purpose, a purpose shaped in silence, refined in suffering, strengthened in waiting. It is not about dreams fulfilled quickly, but dreams fulfilled faithfully. Dreams trusted when no one else believed. Dreams carried through loss, through injustice, through years where nothing seemed to move. The boy once betrayed became the man who saved many, not because he demanded greatness, but because he remained faithful when greatness was nowhere in sight. Because when God is writing the story, no pit is final, no prison is permanent, and no betrayal can cancel destiny. What others intend for harm, God reshapes for healing. What seems delayed is often being prepared. And so the story ends, not with revenge, but with restoration. Not with power taken, but with purpose fulfilled. Because when God holds the pen, the ending is always redemptive.
We lift your name
name
higher.
higher and higher, higher and higher, higher and higher. From the ghetto to the uptown, we dey hail you. Every blessing where you give, we dey show you. You dey carry me, steady me, guiding me. Anywhere I dey, Jesus, you beside me. When the wahala come, you be my defender. You turn my morning to real life Jenga. See my life now, testimony full ground. Now your mercy make my joy dey loud. I go praise you till my legs die, my mouth still they hail you. You be king over kings, you be master. Every other power fade out faster. From the island reach the mighty